his sons just wasn't, they wasn't ready to accept discipline, and it's just very hard for our family because not only did I lose my brother, we're dealing with my nephews as well. So this is very hard for us, and I just hope, that God give us all strength, and everyone pray for us during this tragic of our life.
Before I start this video, I just wanted to say in advance that I do apologize because I was not able to find many photos of Larry Ingram Jr. or anyone else involved in this case. So please forgive me for the lack of variety as it pertains to images and or footage. On Tuesday, February 21st, 1984, Larry Ingram Jr. was born to his parents, Larry Ingram Sr. and Catherine Ingram Kofi in Lancaster, South Carolina, also known as the Red Rose City. He was one amongst 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and his loved ones referred to him as Junior. Growing up, Larry was a pretty good young man. He primarily attended public schools like a lot of us and went on to graduate from Lancaster High School in 2002. He grew up in a God-fearing household that was affiliated with the Mount Carmel AME Zion Church, and like most children who got antsy after a little while sitting in church with their family, Larry always had to be told to stop talking, sit down, and sit still. But other than that, Larry went on to become a law-abiding citizen for the most part who worked hard for his earnings. A couple of examples of his consistent work ethics is a job he held with Merida Inc., which is a manufacturer company in York, South Carolina. And then he went on to become employed as a press operator with Cure Medical Inc. To know Larry was to love him. He always made the people around him crack up laughing. He was definitely the light that knew how to work a room and leave his positive energy as an imprint on the hearts of anyone he was associated with. Some of his favorite things to do was cook, in which pinto beans and cornbread was his favorite. Those had to be incorporated in his spread. He loved to go fishing, play cards, play a little video games on his Xbox here and there, shoot the shits with his people at the family gathering, stuff like that. Larry was very much a family man, so much so he went on to have 5 children of his own, 4 sons and 1 daughter, whom he worked so hard to take care of so he could provide a better life for his children, as most of us parents strive for. Larry was known to take care of and love on all of his children. But not only his children, you see, Larry loved the kids, including his nieces and nephews. That's why it was so shocking what happened to Larry at his Rock Hill, South Carolina home on Monday, November 14th, 2022.
The deadly Rock Hill shooting faced a judge today. Police arrested 3 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old earlier this month for the shooting on Paces River Avenue. South Carolina Bureau Chief Shakira Speaks joins us now live in Rock Hill, where the 3 of the teens appeared in family court this afternoon. Shakira?
Yeah, that's right, Brian. 3 of those suspect juveniles appeared today. The 4th didn't, and we didn't really get a specific reason as to why. We did find out that 2 of the suspects are sons of the victim, and the other 2 are related to the victim as well. Now, each hearing lasted about 40 minutes before the family court judge issued a ruling. Now, Rock Hill police say the shooting happened on November 14th, just after midnight. When they arrived to the apartment, they found 38-year-old Larry Ingram Jr. in the hallway with multiple gunshot wounds. Police say the gun used was a Glock 43, and it was found in a wooded area after the juveniles fled the scene. Police say the suspects told them they conspired to kill him after they were upset with discipline from earlier that day.
Larry Jr. then disciplined the children for an issue that was occurring on Instagram, so he collected all of their computers. A few hours after that, took a door handle, a doorknob, that we actually located at the front door of the crime scene, which is right near the parents' room. He then threw the doorknob to the parents' room in an attempt to lure Larry over to the boys' room so he could be shot.
So Ingram's sister says despite the familial relationship that she has with her brother's alleged killers, she still wants them to be held to the fullest extent of the law. We'll have more on that coming up on Queen City News at 10. For now, I'm live in York County. Shakira Speaks, Queen City News.
Larry, like any parent who pays attention to their children, whether their own or someone else's, but they're yours when under your supervision, had noticed that his two sons, and I believe the other two boys were his nephews. Some reports say the other two boys was his nephews. Some say they were just there with his two sons. But either way, the boys were foxing around on the popular social media app Instagram. And according to media reports, the teens had got caught doing something they wasn't supposed to do on the app. So Larry disciplined them by taking their laptops away. Sounds like something in a normal adult-child dynamic, right? Well, unfortunately, the teen boys didn't see it as such. These boys, including his own flesh and blood, remember, his own two sons, became enraged with Larry. They became so upset that they hatched a plan which would involve calculated, cold-blooded, premeditated murder. According to Rock Hill Police Detective Eric Olson, after disciplining the boys, Larry retired to a room in his home, which I'm assuming was his bedroom, with his girlfriend. This is when the boys began creating noise by randomly banging on stuff and banging on his door in order to lure him out the room. Once Larry opened the door, came out the room and into the hallway to see what was going on, he was shot in the back. Larry instantly dropped to the floor where he was shot several more times. 38-year-old Larry had been shot multiple times execution style with a Glock 43 and died on the scene. He was found laid out with multiple gunshot wounds to the body in his home. The teens fled the scene and tried hiding the gun in the nearby woods wrapped up in clothing, but the weapon was recovered by police canine. Police arrived at the home on Paces River Avenue off Celanese Road shortly after 12 a.m.
That sister told me that her brother was a good man and a good father. Obviously, this is a hard time for her family, but she says it is even harder because two of the young people accused in this crime are her own nephews. Kimberly Ingram says her brother Larry Ingram Jr. had recently moved his two teenage sons to Rock Hill, trying to give them better opportunities. But early Monday, their lives were rocked by tragedy. Rock Hill police told us 3 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old shot and killed the 38-year-old victim inside an apartment. They said the teens came up with a plan after the victim tried to discipline them. Today, Ingram told me 2 of the teens are her brother's own children.
His sons just wasn't, they wasn't ready to accept discipline, and it's just very hard for our family because not only did I lose my brother, we're dealing with my nephews as well. So this is very hard for us, and I just hope, that God give us all strength, and everyone pray for us during this tragic of our life.
And all 4 of the teenagers involved in this are facing charges of murder and criminal conspiracy to commit murder. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we're going to have much more on this case, as well as reaction from some of the people that live in that community.
All 4 of the teens were arrested a few hours after they ended Larry's life. They were charged with murder and criminal conspiracy to commit murder. Initially, when talking to police, they tried to lie and give a fake story of events, but eventually, one by one, they cracked and told all of what really happened. Being that the boys are minors, 3 of them 14 years old and 1 15 years old, their identities has been kept confidential. On November 18th, 2022, Larry's sister, Kimberly Ingram, created a GoFundMe account seeking assistance in any costs for her brother's funeral, burial, and any basic needs for his other children. She stated, quote, "Hello, my name is Kimberly Ingram. On November 14th, 2022, our family suffered a tragic loss of my brother, Larry Ingram Jr., or Junior as we called him. Junior was a press operator for Cure Medical Inc., a loving father of 5 children, a son, and a brother who suddenly had his life taken away due to gun violence while at home, shortly after watching a football game with his friends and family. Junior was a hard worker, an avid fisherman, and a dedicated San Francisco 49ers fan who loved life and supporting his children and family. Due to the nature of Junior's passing and the lack of funding for arrangements, our family is requesting any assistance that can be provided to support his burial and remaining children. Any form of support would be tremendously appreciated as we deal with this tragedy during this approaching holiday season. We ask that you all keep us in your prayers as we have a long road ahead of us surrounding the details of this tragedy that has stricken our family at this time. This is truly a heartbreaking situation that we all have to overcome slowly but surely. Not only did we lose my brother, we also lost 3 nephews losing another loved one in the midst of this tragedy. May God bless you all, and thanks for your support. End quote. If you'd like to donate to the GoFundMe, I've placed the link in my description box. During a court appearance on Tuesday, November 29th, 2022, Kimberly asked that the boys all be punished to the fullest extent of the law. As for now, there's no sentencing information available from what I can see just yet. The last update I read said the teen boys were currently being held in juvenile detention and prosecutors are seeking to try them as adults. Larry's funeral was held at the very church he was always affiliated with, Mount Zion AME Zion Church, on Saturday, November 26, 2022. It's a tragedy what happened to Larry. He never deserved to lose his life before he could even see 40 over something so simple as removing an electronic device. This social media stuff can be so dangerous for grown adults, so you can imagine what it does to an underdeveloped mind that's easily impressionable and susceptible to those endorphins that rushes through their bodies like adrenaline whenever they see a like, when they get a new follow, when they get a rise out of people in the comments. Unfortunately, that instant gratification, that rush, is enough to make some over it. Clearly, Larry was a great dad and probably gave his kids all their hearts desired. It's a shame though that two of his own children took advantage of his kindness and felt so entitled to their desires that they heinously executed their own father at the mere refusal of a privilege that they lost rightfully after getting caught doing something they had no business doing in the first place. A lot of the youth these days feel like they're in control, to the point they feel like they can't even be disciplined or they'll call the laws, or like in this case, which was even worse, murder. A famous actor and comedian named Milton Berle said, quote, "This is how it is today. The teachers are afraid of the principals. The principals are afraid of the superintendents. The superintendents are afraid of the Board of Education. The board is afraid of the parents. The parents are afraid of the children. The children are afraid of nothing." End quote. Larry wasn't a deadbeat. He was present financially and physically, emotionally. He was loving. He only wanted the best for his children like we all do. It's just devastating that all his efforts will only be a memory. I hope his sons and the other two boys involved will realize, if they haven't already, how much they've ruined their own lives and the pain they've caused everyone. I pray they make complete transformations into decent human beings, realizing their wrongdoings, and beg for forgiveness while sticking to positive change. And just like Kimberly, I too pray they get the punishment they deserve for their crime. To all the loved ones of Larry, I send you my deepest condolences and healing energy. To the children who honored him as their father, I pray your days become less painful as time goes on. And to his family, please continue to stick together in his memory. Rest in heavenly peace, Larry Ingram Jr.